Can you hear me? Okay.
Cinnamon roll.
Testing. Testing.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Clearlake City Council meeting hosted at the Clearlake City Council Chambers at 14050 Olympic Drive in Clearlake, California. Today is Thursday, August 17th, 2023. It is 6 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Councilmember Slotin,
Here.
Councilmember Overton. Here. Councilmember Kremer,
Here.
Vice Mayor Clappy,
Here.
Mayor Purdock.
Here. Councilmember Overton, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. If you wouldn't mind, just remain standing for a second. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence. Just a little over a week ago, devastation that we've experienced here locally tore at the heart and soul of the folks and families that live in Lahaina and other areas of the island of Maui in the chain in the state of Hawaii. As a body, unfortunately, the fatality count increases. Councilmember Kramer and I have had an opportunity to speak with a person who has family there on site. It's just as devastating as we can remember from the Valley Fire, except the loss of life was tremendously higher. So if you wouldn't mind, just please join with me. Let's send a prayer and good thoughts to the good people of Hawaii. Thank you all very much. All right. Mr. Fleur, any changes to the agenda?
No modifications, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we accept the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
I have a motion by Councilmember Overton and a second by Councilmember Slotin. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Presentations. We have a presentation of this month's adoptable dogs. Lieutenant?
Mr. Mayor, City Council, unfortunately, our animal control officer was not able to bring a dog today. Purpose they were on an emergency call up in the avenues, so they weren't able to make it to the meeting. They're actively working that investigation currently. For the statistics over the year to date, there's been 147 dogs that have come into the shelter. 119 have left the shelter, including 42 rescued, 48 returned to owner, 23 adopted, 1 euthanized, and 5 either died or were lost in the shelter care. Live release rate at this point is 99.51%. Current shelter population is 77 dogs, which include 51 dogs and 26 puppies. And the puppies are with their adult mothers at this time. Veterinary care, 6 dogs and 2 cats were taken. And to give an update on the horse, is currently at a rescue boarding facility and doing well. Over the past month, 7 citations have been issued by our animal control officers, so they're continuing to do more enforcement as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Peterson. Please.
Said died or lost.
So some of the animals either from injuries, some have also escaped being transferred into the facility. They escaped, from the care and get out of the facility. So that's been a mixture of that. So you're welcome.
Vice Mayor also has a question.
So
7 citations, that's great. That's a big uptick than what we had before, trending in the right direction. New licensing. Do we have numbers on that yet? Number of animals licensed in the last month, or?
I did not get that. I can get that and forward the information to the city manager to provide you.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Kramer.
Yeah, 51 adult dogs and 26 puppies. Last month there was 22 puppies and 51. Is it the same?
No, they ended up getting 4 puppy French bulldogs. Code enforcement went out and red tagged a residents. Those 4 little French bulldogs, I guess they're paper dogs. So more than likely the owner will end up retrieving them.
Yeah.
But they could not leave them in a house that had no power and heat, so they were recovered.
So they're 4 half-grown dogs. They're classified as pups still.
They're, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, but they don't need the mother.
No.
Okay.
And the mother, according to my understanding, was not there. It was just the 4 small.
Oh,
dogs.
okay.
Yeah, the French bulldogs.
And then cats.
Cats, currently, there's 2 cats. They've removed several. And I don't get the cat numbers. His focus has always been the dogs,
Yeah.
but there's 15 kittens there as well.
Two cats and 15
15 kittens. Yes,
Wow.
Got your hands full, sir.
yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Any other question?
Thanks, Lieutenant.
You're welcome.
Moving on to item 2. Chief. We have the pleasure of swearing in newly hired and promoted Clearlake PD staff.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the public and community that came to tonight's meeting. Tonight's a special night for us. We were going to swear into one new employee and one recently promoted employee. The new employee, he had a change in the due date, or his wife had a change in her due date, which is today. So he is unable to make it tonight. We
Wait,
will
what?
probably be seeing him at a meeting, hopefully in September, to do his swearing in.
Very good.
So tonight we will be doing the promotion for Sergeant Trevor Franklin. You want to come on up, please? We're going to do this promotion first, then we have a couple employees in different new positions that we're going to bring up, do a brief introduction on. And all right, this is Sergeant Trevor Franklin. He was raised in Middletown, California. After high school, he went to Santa Rosa Junior College, where he played football for a couple of years. He graduated there with an AA degree, and then he moved on to San Francisco State University, where he obtained his bachelor's degree. He also wrestled on the wrestling team while he was there. Shortly after graduating college, he came back to Lake County, went to the police academy, and started working with us in February of 2013. Since that time, he has served in various positions. He's been on patrol. He became an FTO, field training officer, to train newly hired police officers in 2019. He's done that from then through now. In early spring of 2022, he became a detective, where he worked in the investigations unit until a few weeks ago, when he got promoted to the rank of sergeant. So if you want to come on over here, we'll do the oath of office. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Trevor Franklin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And who's going to pin your badge on? All right, if you want to come up, please. I will sign this real quick. There you go. Sitting right there, Trevor. There you go. Good. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, if you want to wait up here for a minute, we're gonna do a couple more. We might need your help.
Not
so
gonna get out of here that easy.
If I could get Sergeant Cook to come on up. Officer Williams and Officer Perry. Just want to line up next to Trevor here.
It's not right, Elvis.
We're just gonna do a quick little intro on these three. They've taken on some new assignments recently, one very recently, and just go give a little history on them. Lieutenant Snyder will be doing those for you. All right, we'll do Sergeant Cook first. Sergeant Cook has been with us for quite a long time. He's done various assignments in the department. He came to us and worked in patrol. He did that for a while and then moved into investigations. He worked in investigations for quite a while. Did a lot of different types of cases, did very good work in there. While he was in detectives, we had a sergeant opening. He tested for sergeant and got promoted to the rank of sergeant, and then moved out into patrol, where he's worked since the promotion. Recently this spring, we had a opening for the detective sergeant position. We did a testing earlier this spring for that position, and Sergeant Cook came out #1 at that. So he will be moving into the detective sergeant role. We have a couple more things to get in place before he's in there full time, but he's going to be doing that part time until we get everything else lined up. But just a quick introduction to him, and we'll be moving on to Officer Williams.
Just real quick on Sergeant Cook here. He is my replacement for my old position. So I'm glad to see him advance in his career. He was one of my first detectives when I was the detective sergeant. And it's been a joy to see him come up through the career and now taking my old position. It's probably one of the best jobs in the department. All right. Tonight, it's my honor to I'm going to move down here by the officers real quick here. This is Officer Nathan Williams right here. Okay. He was our summer community engagement officer. Officer Williams' main focus on this assignment was to provide extra enforcement education and increase visibility at shopping areas, parks, and to conduct additional traffic enforcement on high visibility roadways. Officer Williams was raised in Lakeport. After high school, he joined the U.S. Navy, where he proudly served for 5 years. After leaving the Navy, Officer Williams remained in Southern California for a few years before returning back to Lake County. Shortly after returning to Lake County, Officer Williams was hired at the police department in June of 2020. During this time at the police department, Officer Williams has worked hard to make a positive difference in the community, explain his knowledge in the law enforcement field. In his free time, Officer Williams enjoys spending time with his wife and daughter. Have you moved down here real quick? All right, it's my honor to introduce the next officer. This is Officer Christopher Perry. Officer Perry is our new school resource officer. I believe he started last week in the assignment. All right, Officer Perry joined the Clearlake Police Department in September of 2021. Officer Perry was also raised in Lake County, and he is happily married and the proud father of 7 children. Take a break for that. Hence, he works well with children. He has a lot of patience. Officer Perry's primary duties include maintaining a safe and secure environment for the students, staff, and visitors, building a positive relationship between students and law enforcement, serving as a resource for school administrators and addressing issues related to law enforcement, and providing education on topics such as drug prevention, personnel safety, and bullying. Officer Perry's presence aims to deter criminal activity, handle incidents that may arise, and foster a positive interaction between the police and the student population. Thank you, Officer Perry.
I just want to add a little bit about the SRO position. This topic came up a month ago at the city council meeting when we entered into a new MOU with the school district for this position. This is something that's really good to have back. We haven't had a SRO since the late fall of 2020. It's something that we definitely need in the schools, and most people at the schools, everyone at the schools is very excited to have this again. And we're just very fortunate to be in a position where we have the staff available to provide this to the schools, and that we have a school that is able to fund this position for us. It's definitely going to be good for all the students in the community, and nice to see us back on the campus. And I think Officer Perry is going to be doing a lot there. I think the first couple of weeks they've been lacking this position for a while, so he's definitely been busy the last week and a half. But hopefully he'll start to get things a little under control and them used to him being there, and slow down hopefully here in a while. Do we take a couple minute break?
Chief, we can take a couple minute breaks for we have, anyone would like to take that opportunity for some photographs, this is the time to do it. So we will adjourn for a 5-minute break. All right, well, we're reconvening a little early. I think everybody's still here. Moving on to item number 2 of presentations. I'm sorry, item 3. I will be presenting a proclamation declaring August 31st, 2023 International Overdose Awareness Day. Do I have anybody here from Safe RX? Come on up. We come around here and we're going to face them because they all. This is why, so. Break this. I broke it. Totally broke it. Apologize for all those coming up for public comment. We have a technician, Lieutenant Sider. I see you jumping up here. That's why we get the big bucks, folks. Okay. While our technician is putting together our furniture, about 5 years ago, I think it was, we stood before this council and brought up a subject that was pretty hard to talk about, and that's the subject of overdose and the need for Narcan in our community, which was something pretty new back then. Now it's fairly common. The reason for that was the record numbers of people who were experiencing overdose, and unfortunately, many of those led to fatalities. My friends here to my right are members of SafeRx, and they've been working since that time very hard to curb and change the behaviors within our medical professionals and within the community to try to prevent accidental overdoses, and in the changing tide and with new laws and things like that, where some of these medications like fentanyl, for example, are so easy for our community members to get a hold of and so dangerous for them to ingest. We've just unfortunately seen those numbers rise. So with that, I'd like to read the proclamation that was prepared tonight by our city staff and presented by the city council. I'm just a silly guy who gets to read it. So dated this day, August 31st, 2023, we recognize International Overdose Awareness Day. Whereas International Overdose Awareness Day is a global event held annually on the 31st of August to honor loved ones lost to fatal overdose. Whereas in 2022, 79 people fatally overdosed in Lake County, the highest fatal overdose rate in the state of California. Whereas all overdose deaths are preventable. Whereas addiction is a chronic, relapsing, and treatable disease that should not be conflated with moral or personal failure, yet continues to be the subject of stigma and marginalization. Whereas every person should have access to resources that prevent overdose, including naloxone or Narcan, syringe exchange, drug testing, and medication-assisted treatment. And whereas in the Lake County, dedicated prescribers of medication, assisted treatment, harm reduction providers, and substance use recovery programs work tirelessly to provide residents with these resources. And whereas local communities play a crucial role in reducing the stigma, including residents, elected officials, parents, private and public organizations, hospital, law enforcement, first responders, school, and colleges. And whereas SafeRx, Lake County, and Overdose Prevention Coalition, comprised of local agencies and organizations, will host the third annual commemoration of International Overdose Day in Austin Park on Saturday, August 19th, that's a Saturday, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. Now, therefore, the City Clearlake Council joins with Lake County Behavioral Health Services, the County of Lake Public Health Department, and agencies and organizations that comprise SafeRx Lake County, and does hereby recognize August 31st, 2023 as International Overdose Awareness Day in Clearlake, California, dated this 17th day of August, 2023 by the Clearlake City Council. Kim, would you like to say a few things?
Sarah, go first.
Sarah, you're going to go first.
Yes.
Here's the mic.
Thank you. My name is Sarah. I am an AmeriCorps Vista member working with SafeRx Lake County. Thank you for considering and passing this important proclamation. As the data presented in the proclamation suggests, Clearlake is just one site of a nationwide overdose epidemic, but faces unique challenges in combating it. Luckily, we have dozens of people in this county working every day to prevent overdoses. We look forward to continuing our partnership with Clearlake, public agencies, and organizations so that we can end overdose.
Thank you. And thank you for acknowledging this today. I'm Kim Tangerman. I'm Deputy Director of Lake County Public Health, and I've been with SafeRx since its inception. I appreciate the work that has been going on with SafeRx and the agencies that comprise it. As you said, on Saturday, the 19th at Austin Park, there'll be a free event, the International Overdose Day event. We'd love to see everyone come out to the event. It will be members and organizations will be in attendance to offer free Narcan, the training, the kits, and access to numerous resources. SafeRx Lake County Health Services are proud to work alongside the city of Clearlake to get people the help they need by expanding naloxone, the opiate reversal agent, expanded medication assisted treatment. I did that the other day too. For opiate use disorder and other substance resources. And thank you again.
Okay, I got a question. How long does the training take for someone to know and understand how naloxone or Narcan works?
About 5 minutes.
Or 90
If
seconds.
you're slow. Yeah. 5
It's
minutes
really
with a
easy.
question and answer.
Right. And who should take the class?
Everyone,
Why is that?
because any of us
This
can,
isn't set up. I don't-
Yeah.
I don't know that I ask these questions.
because anyone can reverse.
Right. One of the things that's really scary is our seniors are oftentimes prescribed medications that are pretty heavy duty stuff, like fentanyl patches and things like this, and they can easily overdose without even recognizing it.
On accident.
On accident. So having Narcan in your home is helpful. You don't need to be waiting for someone to have an overdose event right in front of you, when it might be your loved one that unexpectedly has that.
Or you could be at the gas station, or you could be getting Taco Bell.
Exactly. And I'd also like to recognize our first responders, our law enforcement, both here at Clearlake PD, Lake County Sheriff's Office, Lakeport Police Department, and of course, our very own Chief Willie Spada, who brought it into the Lake County Fire Department, Fire Protection District, when all this was coming about, because he recognized the duty and the responsibility to save lives, because this is a very serious situation, not one to put off that, and it should be stigmatized because it affects every single thing.
And shout out to Willie. He's been a long-standing partner with SafeRx, and I appreciate his work.
Kim, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Let's see if I can put this back without breaking. Nice to meet you. Hey, do you want to say something about AmeriCorps? What a great opportunity for you and a great opportunity for us in Lake County to learn about AmeriCorps. Do you mind?
Sure. AmeriCorps is a great program. There's all sorts of different ways you can get involved, from recent college graduates like me to seniors who are looking to get more involved in the community. There's options that'll take you for a couple of months in the summer. I'm currently doing a year-long position with the Public Health Department, working with SafeRx, as I mentioned, but there are all sorts of options. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who is interested in serving the community, whether that's locally or in a place you've always wanted to visit.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Can't say enough good things about AmeriCorps. Thank you very much. All right, next on the agenda, Miss Tina, tell us about our events and how they've been going. Actually, officially, it's a presentation by the Recreation and Events Division, their quarterly report. Miss Tina Veramontes,
Good evening.
good
How
job
are
on
you?
breaking that.
Thank you. I have practice. First of all, I want to say that our Junior Giants ambassador was provided this summer by AmeriCorps. So they do a lot. So I just have a quick presentation. I come every few months. You can connect. There you go. I want to talk about the concerts, the Junior Giants, our youth center, and what is coming up next in the next 12 months. So over the last several months, the department has been working. We've been very busy on scheduling bands for concert, organizing Junior Giants, and even sometimes I had to coach. And which is the baseball program, obtaining sponsorships and donations, and working on the remodeling of the youth center. This is a photo of one of our, this is actually 4th of July, the Journey and Def Leppard revisited bands. We also started off this summer with the Battle of the Bands concerts. This is also 4th of July. I was asked to be one of the judges for the parade. So over the past year, the Recreation Department started from just nothing but an idea. Over the last several months, the department has created so many working relationships and events. In the next 12 months, we are developing the youth center and programs for the youth. We are also working on becoming more financially sustainable and obtaining more sponsorships from businesses around the lake. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, there it goes. It's a little slow. So here you see some random pictures, but they are our youth center. Although you can see it's not quite done, it looks totally different than what it did a year ago. So the two pictures on the end are just pictures of the main room, and the one in the middle is part of my office. I'm not fully unpacked, so I kind of angled it to where we
Now I
didn't
know
see
where to
anything.
find you.
Yes, I'm there. So I go back to Junior Giants. So we had Junior Giants baseball several years ago, and then due to whatever, it stopped. We got it back this year, and this is the parade. Our Junior Giants teams, they walked in the parade, and even some of our volunteer young coaches. It consisted of T-ball teams, minors teams, and some majors teams. We also had several youth athletes from the high school come and help out. And then we had several parents that even on days that there weren't enough players to do, an actual game for two teams, we all jumped in together and we all just played. I tried to get an action shot here, but these are the major kids.
You know what? Tell them a little bit about what the Junior Giants actually
So
is.
Junior Giants is actually a free program funded by the Giants Baseball Fund. Back in February, Joyce and I went to Oracle Park and we met with everybody. We had some training. We got to see the field and their, dugouts and everything. Then what they do is they provided all the uniforms, all the bats, all the baseballs, all everything. We got, I think it was like 60 boxes of stuff. Yeah. And they provided all the umpire gear, bases, several different kinds of baseballs, like everything, jerseys.
Totally
So
free program.
they're all free. A lot of it, they didn't even want back. So every year they send us, I just got finished doing inventory. So I let them know what we have left and they send us the difference next year. At the end, because of the heat and everybody getting ready to go back to school, they kind of fizzled out a little bit. But they said not to worry, it gets better every year. So I was a little embarrassed at the end, but they said, don't worry. So everything is still great. They're going to do some training with me in the off season on how to maintain the stamina of keeping people engaged. So I look forward to more training with them. It'll just help me with, eventually maybe other sports teams and making Junior Giants even better in the years.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions for, are you still going?
No, that's
Okay.
it.
Any questions?
Oh, okay.
Tina, I'd just like, on behalf of the council, I'd like to thank you for all your work. It's great to see people over in the park enjoying the concerts, enjoying the movies, just all the things that you've put together to rally the community and bring us all together for that. And Councilmember Overton now has a question.
You want to tell them about the trunk or treat since you're here for the
Yeah,
future?
I was just
stuff
thinking,
that's,
and then also I wanted to say about the movie. The movie is this Saturday, the first movie of the season. It's going to be
Thank you.
DC League of Superheroes at Austin Park. That'll start around dark time. And then Trunk or Treat's going to be the first official event at the youth center. So that'll be on Saturday, the 28th of October. It's going to be
candy.
carnival style. We're accepting donations of candy.
Okay.
If anybody wants a booth to, do little kids games or whatever, just let me know and we could always use the help.
Thank you very much.
Yep, you're welcome. Thank you.
Great job. Okay, moving on to item F, public comment. Public comment is a time for any member of the public to address the city council on any matter not on tonight's agenda and subject matter of the city of Clearlake. The Brown Act, with limited exceptions, does not allow us to discuss or answer questions that you may have for us. We simply would like to take in what information you have to share with us. And if there is something that we might be able to help you with, we might be able to direct you to a staff member who could do that. We have 3 minutes per speaker, and I will open that up right now with our first request from Kay Lopez, who wants to talk to us tonight about animal control.
Well, first, starting out, is this working?
It is.
Okay. I want to thank David Claffey for taking the time to meet with us regarding our dissatisfaction of the operations of Clearlake Animal Shelter. We are looking forward to seeing major changes in the future. So tonight, I would like to read a poem written by Senator Vest in 1869. I hope this poem stirs some compassion in your hearts to do better by our Clearlake dogs. It's called A Man's Dog. The one absolutely unselfish friend that a man can have in this selfish world, the one that never deserts him, the one that never proves ungrateful or treacherous, is his dog. A man's dog stands by him in prosperity and poverty, in health and sickness. He will sleep on the cold ground where the wintry winds blow and the snow drives fiercely, if only he may be by his master's side. He will kiss the hand that has no food to offer. He will lick the wounds and sores that come in encounter with the roughness of this world. He guards the sleep of his pauper master as if he were a prince. When all friends desert, he remains. When riches take wings and reputation falls to pieces, he is as consistent in his love as the sun as it journeys through the heavens. George Vest was a U.S. Senator from Missouri. He used this poem in closing arguments in a jury trial where he was representing a backwoodsman whose dog, Old Drum, was shot and killed by a neighbor, and he won the case. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to man's best friend. We must not tolerate neglect or abuse of any kind, not now and not ever. I apologize to those who think I'm too aggressive, but when I feel I'm not being heard, I speak louder. And I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. And thank you for the poetry. I have no other written requests for public comment, so I will open it up for anyone. It looks like Supervisor Sabatier may have something to say and enlighten us with. Mr. Bruno.
Bruno Sabatier, City of Clearlake. Just to let you know, Mayor, you chastised me for my outfit last time, so I hope
did?
this is more appropriate for you. You said
No,
it was
because you were
obvious.
wearing a tie
said
and
it
no
was
one else was
obvious.
wearing a tie.
On August 3rd, Chief Hobbs, Chief Rasmussen from City of Lakeport, Sheriff Howe, and our Public Health Officer, Carl Sporer, received a letter from California Department of Public Health permitting any positive change for their syringe exchange program. This takes away all local control. Whether you agree or disagree with the syringe exchange program, it takes away local control. We were in the process of creating an MOU with any positive change that is now gone. There was comments submitted by Dr. Sporer requesting that we be allowed to continue with the MOU process. This was ignored. The chiefs asked for certain restrictions on the process of what activities could be done within the cities and the jurisdictions. This was ignored. And so I am writing a letter that will be on the agenda on Tuesday, and I'm inviting for public comment. I do not have a time. It will be a timed item. It will be on that agenda to write a letter requesting they reconsider their approval of any positive change so that we can continue to have local control over how these programs are in our communities. And just wanted to make sure you were aware of the situation that we're in. As you know, we amended our resolution, a resolution that was last done in 2008. We've amended it in 2021 so that a permission needed to be requested of the cities so that the cities had local control of how these activities were done. That's all over because of the state approval. So just wanted to let you know that this is a letter we are crafting.
And for the
and working
record,
on.
Supervisor, what was the agency from the state that did this?
California Department of Public Health, CDPH.
That's the big one.
That is the big one, yes. And so we will be having that discussion on Tuesday, and we hope that we can get some comments from the city of Clearlake. I have been working with the city manager and the city attorney to
We'll get
discuss
that prepared.
these things, and just wanted to make you aware.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Public comment.
I'll wait. Let's ask him afterwards.
If appropriate, maybe I could just briefly add on that, we are working with the county and the city of Lakeport. We're not happy about the situation. And so we will stay involved. The operator, the Supervisor Spuddy had talked about, over the last few months, we have various accounts of the operator offering services without permits illegally in the city. So the other thing I wanted to mention that may become important here is just this week, there was a ruling related to the city of Santa Cruz and an operator renewal exchange in their community. And the court ruled against the Department of Public Health on that, California Department of Public Health. And so there's some, I think, key parts of that ruling that we may want to use to our advantage. So we're working on that, and feel free to talk to me about it individually.
Supervisor, thank you for that update. Mr. Flora, thank you for that update. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Please come forward. Okay, if you could introduce yourself.
My name's Laura. And Laura Tarver, and I'm here before the council here because everything I've done within my means has become down the hill, And I spoke with someone at the city council, Chamber of Commerce, and she told me, well, come here and talk to the city council. I went, oh, what an idea. So I'm here for that reason. Anyhow, it's gotten worse and worse on our street where we live. There is people driving 60 miles an hour in residential area. Okay, see all hours of the night. Okay, we have cats. We have neighbors next door that have young children. Right, God forbid if they be out there playing and make a wrong move, run out to the road. It'd be a horrible thing to see. We've had multiple of our pets. Our cats hit, by the wayside. Recently, one up in the ball right by our side of the road. They're coming down. So you kind of get the idea. It's really heartbreaking because lady here was speaking about the dogs, same thing with our cats, right? We love them as well. We don't, our pets are our pets, right? So I was thinking that maybe we could try to gather together and get something like a speed bump, some kind of speed bump, to show them they can't drive like that, I mean, it's it's not right. They have a stop sign at the bottom of the hill. Okay, so this person was going extremely fast and it was on our side of the road and he never stopped, and they stopped till they get down the bottom of the hill.
Okay.
Okay.
Perhaps
And they do this all
Lieutenant
the
Snyder
time.
might be able to address that with some extra patrol.
Well, sure. So, is there any way we can do a speed bump? I mean, we gather together.
Let's try first things first. So why don't you talk to Lieutenant Snyder and see if we can do a little extra patrol out there.
Okay.
Thank
okay.
you.
Thank you.
Very good. Anyone else liking to address the city council during this period of public comment? Please step forward. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do we have anybody on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Moving on from public comment to item G, the consent agenda. Does any member of the council have an item they would like to pull from the agenda? Seeing none, is there any member of the public that would like to have an item pulled from the agenda for discussion? Madam Clerk, anyone on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. I'll bring it back to the council for action.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Can you turn your mic on? Try it again.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Kramer and a second by Vice Mayor Claffey. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? There being none opposed, it passes unanimously, Madam Clerk. Moving on to item H, business. Consideration of Canocti Water District's board appointment. I'd just like to thank everyone and like to recognize the working relationship that the city has with our friends at the Water District. Over the years, we've had some trying times with people breaking into hydrants and stealing water, fires, of course, and I just want to publicly appreciate all the things that you've done, all the work during the droughts and trying to get people good water. Frank, it's good to see you here tonight. Mr. Flora, do you have anything to present?
Yeah, Ms. Swanson isn't here, so I can give a brief introduction. As you recall, we received a letter from Canocti County Water District the day of our last meeting, August 3rd, notifying us that they had received a resignation from a board member. Their ability to reappoint someone for that seat expired, I believe, after 60 days. And so then it falls on the legislative body of the jurisdiction that they're in to make that appointment. And so that's where we are. We have one applicant that submitted an application to the water district itself. So we reached out to them, had them submit the application to the city. And then we also received 2 other applications from community members. The office verified, as I understand, there's 2 really conditions to serving on the board. One being that you reside within the water district and you're a registered voter. And we were able to confirm that all 3 candidates meet those criteria. And so unless the council wants to change the process, what we had discussed with the mayor was following the normal process for committee assignments, which would be asking a few questions of each of the candidates. And since there's folks from the water district here that may not be familiar with our process, what we normally do is just start in alphabetical order. The 2 candidates that are coming up, we take them into a small conference room out here so they don't have the opportunity to listen to the answers of the previous candidate and sort of hone their skills. And then once they're done with that sort of interview opportunity, they can stay in the room and we'll just swap them out. And then the council will deliberate, take any input from the public and make an appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Flora. Any question of staff before we begin this process? Very good. I'd like to thank all the members of the Canocti Water Board for being here. We appreciate your participation as well. If I could have the yes, you typically after we would hear from the candidates, I would solicit public comment on that for anybody in the chambers or anyone on Zoom that would like to express a concern or an opinion. I don't see a problem with that, Mr. Council.
You just has to have up and come before you take your, so we don't do it now, or you want to do it later? It's your call.
Why don't, since this is a period for staff comment, I consider Frank a member of staff for this public entity. Frank, come on up. And you might, I know who you are, but you might want to introduce yourself.
Sorry, guys. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, city council members and members of the public. My name is Frank Costner. I'm the general manager of Canocti County Water District. I've been working at Canocti County Water District for about 35 years, and I've been managing the district for 20 years. With us today in the audience, we have the Canocti County Water District board members. We have President Preby. We have Vice President Stanley, Director Flora, Auditor Secretary of the board, Paula Gonzalez, and board member applicant Robert Witt. My board asked me to speak on their behalf today. So I am here to hopefully clear up a misunderstanding there was at the last city council meeting. It was announced that the Canocti County Water District Board failed to find a qualified applicant to fill a board vacancy, and that we were requesting the city council to find an applicant. That is not the case. Canocti County Water District had a director resign on May 24th, and in the past, we had 60 days to appoint a director before we must contact the county to appoint that director. At the June At the June 28th board meeting, the Canocti County Water District directors were prepared to interview the applicant we received, Robert Witt. That same day, the board secretary was informed by the county register of voters that there was a problem with our applicant's address and the applicant needed to clear it up before they verified him. When Robert contacted the register of voters, he discovered that the address he was registered under was 16033 33rd, and he lived at 16003 33rd Avenue. Robert corrected his address with the county, and then his interview and potential application was put on the Canocti County Water District's July 26th board meeting's agenda. At the July 26th board meeting, the board accepted Robert Witt's county verified application to be a board member. Because we were beyond the 60 days that is required to fill the position, we requested the county supervisors to appoint the director. This is the procedure we have used in the 20 years I have been general manager. During that time, the county has never denied our applicant or our request to appoint a director approved by our board. When the county received our request to put in the applicant of Robert Witt on the county supervisor's agenda, there was a legal review of the procedure to appoint a director for special district. It was discovered during the legal review that if a special district like KCWD is fully within a city's boundaries, the district needs to request the city council to approve the applicant. At the August 3rd special meeting of the Canocti County Water District Board, the board members voted to approve the applicant of Robert Witt again and request the city of Clearlake to appoint him to the Canocti County Water District Board. Canocti County Water District President Kirsten Priebe wrote to the city council on August 3rd, informing the city of our board's vacancy, that we did not appoint a director in the 60 days, and that the district was asking the city council to appoint the applicant that the board of Canocti County Water District verified and voted to approve. The Canocti County Water District Board and I were very surprised when it was announced at the last city council meeting that the district failed to find a qualified applicant and that the city council gave consensus to accept applications to fill the position without taking our letter in consideration. And so we were wondering, did the city council have a chance to review the letter before consensus was given? Well, unfortunately, there was no public comment on staff reports, so no member of the public and no one from Canocti County Water District was able to comment and clarify what the intent of the letter was. So now that the city has heard the reason the vacancy was not filled in the 60-day period, and you have had a chance to review our request, the Canocti County Water District Board respectfully asks for you to accept the request to appoint Robert Witt to the Canocti County Water District Board. Is there any questions?
Well, just some clarification. I believe we didn't receive that to have it publicly noticed, and that's why we're hearing it tonight. Is that correct, Mr. Flora? So that's why we'd be hearing it tonight, and we weren't able to take action on it on our previous council meeting.
Right, but it wasn't presented as stated, though. The letter was not presented. It was presented in not that manner. It was presented as we failed to find an applicant, and that you were getting consensus to open application. So we just feel like that was new business. So it probably should have been placed on the agenda as new business, so to give the public, an opportunity to comment on. And obviously, if business about Canocti County Water District is discussed before the city council, we would like to be notified and hopefully have an opportunity to address city council.
Good.
So that's where we're at.
So here we are tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And we have 2 additional applicants. Would you would like to proceed with interviews? Is your the person you prefer, is he also in attendance?
I believe so.
You
Yes.
introduced him?
Yeah. My board approved applicant. Yes.
Okay. And we've vetted 2 additional applicants. I think in public interest, it would be good to move forward in that way, unless is there any concern, Mr. Jones?
No, I think the record's now been clarified. The council's fully advised of what the water district's perspective is. And so you now take that into account as you interview the 3 candidates and then make a decision.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Frank. Good to have you here. All right, well, as
Okay,
the,
well,
ahead.
yeah. So you ready to move forward?
yes, sir.
Okay, so Mr. Cook would be the first one to come forward, and Douglas and Robert, I'll take them into the conference room.
Very good. Any of our applicants, could we have all three applicants stand up, please? Before we begin the process, do any of you have questions about what's going on? Probably not. All right, very good. Thank you, Mr. Floor. Mr. Cook. Welcome to the hot seat, sir. Come on up to the front. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sergeant Elvis Cook, Clerk Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. What we're going to do is we have 5 questions prepared. We'll ask the same questions of each candidate. And since it just happens that there's 5 of us, I'll begin with the first question and then we'll go to my right. So that being said, first question is, please tell us why you'd be interested in serving on the Conocti County Water District.
It's a position I just learned about just in the last week or so. And obviously I live up off of Dam on Conocti and 7th. So it's obviously in my area. I'm concerned with obviously water in our community and across obviously where I live. So it would directly influence me and my family and make sure we have good water source, clean water, water pressure for obviously fires and how that comes out during droughts and all that. So that's the reason why.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Slutin.
All right. How have your experiences, whether through education, work, or community involvement, prepared you to serve on the district board?
Well, I've never personally been on a district board. I have been on the POA board and I am the president of our middle management board. So I have served on a couple of boards, but never like a water district board. So I've also been a supervisor for 6+ years and an FTO probably for an additional 10 years where I supervised and led people. So I think I have a lot of experience in leading people and listening to people and working out a common goal.
Thank you.
Ms. Overton.
Okay, what do you perceive as the most important issue facing Clear Lake, and how should the district coordinate with the city to deal with those issues?
I think when it comes directly to the water, obviously the biggest issue is always going to be cleaning drinking water, enough water for resources, enough water for community, water when it comes into droughts, water when it comes to fire, those kind of situations where I think the most important things are.
And how do you see the dealings between the water district and the city working?
Obviously, they got to work hand in hand with each other, coordinate whenever there's issues that with new housing coming in, new businesses coming in, obviously fires and droughts. And when we have obviously issues with the water quality, I mean, everybody has to work together. So.
Thank you. Mr. Kramer. Question 4.
Yes. Sergeant Cook, what do you see as the largest challenges from the water district and other water districts over the next 4 years? Yeah, next few years rather.
Obviously, like I've kind of already said, I think we're always going to have fire issues. We're always going to have obviously we've been dealing with drought now for the last few years. This first year in a couple of years, we haven't had a real major drought issue. Like I said, I live in that area. I had issues with the water where, obviously smells and taste and stuff like that. So that's why it directly affects me. And then obviously moving forward to the future in the next, say, 4 or 5 years, I know the city wants to keep growing with new businesses, new, residents. So obviously it's going to be something to work hand in hand to keep all those qualities working.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Mr. Cook, what is your vision for the city and the community?
Well, like I said, I work here. I've been here now going on almost 17 years. My family lives here. So I would like to see the city continue to grow, continue to improve. Obviously that direct influence on the water, obviously make sure that we have proper water supply for the community moving forward. So.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. That concludes our questions. Is there anything you'd like to add in conclusion?
I just appreciate you guys taking the time and considering me. Like I said, I live here, I work here. I think I'd be a good asset to them for the future.
Thank you, Mr. Cook.
All right, thank you.
Please have a seat. Good evening, sir. If you would, please introduce yourself.
My name is Doug Ide. I live at 15866 23rd Avenue.
Yes,
City
you
of
do.
Clearlake.
So the way we're going to do this, we each have 5 questions and there just happens to be 5 of us. So I'm going to start out with the first question. It's a pretty hard one. Please tell us why you're interested in serving on the Canocti County Water District.
Because of where I live, obviously geographically speaking, and I've always wanted to get involved in City of Clear Lake and the way it runs, and it's my way of giving back to the city.
Thank you. Mr. Slotin?
How have your experiences, whether through education, work, or community involvement, prepared you to serve on the district board?
Currently, I'm a grocery manager for Food Max. I've got roughly 40 years of management experience. Currently, I'm leading almost 100 employees. So the management skills are there.
Thank you.
Ms. Overton?
Yes. What do you perceive as the most important issues facing Clear Lake? And how should the district coordinate with the city to deal with those issues?
That's a tough one, Joyce.
That's why we're asking it.
I think one of our most important thing is the water. And getting the water issues straightened out, which means between the Canocti Water District and the city council.
And the issues are with the water.
Cleanliness, service, usage. There's 3 examples.
Thank you. Mr. Kramer?
Yes, Mr. Ide. What do you see as the largest challenges facing the water district and the water districts over the next few years?
Usage would be the biggest one.
Expound on that a little bit.
Well, I think we have a fair share of people that don't pay attention how much they're using. I mean, in drought times, does everybody regulate their water? Or just people not even pay attention to it and just use it? That'll be the biggest issue moving forward.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
What is your vision for our city and the community?
Growth, business opportunity. And keep it clean, which they're doing.
Thank you, sir. That concludes the questions that we have prepared. Is there anything you'd like to share in conclusion?
Not at this time, Mr. Mayor.
All right, you're welcome to have a seat in the gallery. Good evening, sir. If you could just introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Robert Witt. I live in the Avenues here in town. I've lived here like 15 years now.
Very good. Thank you very much for being here. Mr. Witt, we have 5 questions and just happens that we have 5 people here to ask them. So I'm going to start with the first question, which is, please tell us why you're interested in serving on the Canocti County Water District.
I've always been interested in the water company, and I had quadruple bypass 2.5 years ago, and I got a little time. So I figured I might volunteer and help out.
Thank you. Councilmember Slotin.
Okay, how have your experiences, whether through education or work or community involvement, prepared you to serve on the Water District Board?
As far as what?
How have your experiences
I've never been
prepared you?
I've never been on a board of directors before.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Councilmember Overton.
Okay, what do you perceive as the most important issues facing Clear Lake? as a whole? And how should the district coordinate with the city to deal with those issues?
The potholes in the road around here are terrible.
Okay,
That's what my priority would be at first.
very good. Thank you. Councilmember Kramer.
Second. Okay, Mr. Witt, what do you see as the largest challenges facing the water district and other water districts over the next few years?
Well, Canocta is a nonprofit. That's probably a hard thing to keep going. That I'd like to see that, that keep going and being a nonprofit. And we have the best water around the whole lake. Keep that up. That's a priority. And then keep, as much as possible, keep the bills down for the people.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Vice Mayor.
What is your vision for our city and the community?
I'd just like to see it stay safe, drug-free as possible as it could be, you know what I mean? And continue with the fireworks displays and things like that.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Witt, is there anything you'd like to share with the council in conclusion?
I don't know. I've been happy with the way the city's been going.
Well, thank you for that. You're welcome to have a seat here in the gallery. All right, at this time, I'd like to open it up for public comment on this item. Anyone having an opinion or something they would like to share with the council, this is your time. You have 3 minutes to share. You're welcome to step up. If you have a candidate you believe would be better than another, this is your chance to express that. Anyone at this time? Anyone on Zoom? Oh, I do see a hand. Come on up, sir. Here, just wait till you get to the mic.
My name is Jeff Stanley. I'm vice president of the board. And I've worked in water processing. I worked in nuclear power 15 years. We returned our cooling water back to the bay. Chevron Chemical 5 years. I've taken the college courses recently. I hold a level 2 license for water processing and distribution. So I have some familiarity with it. It's kind of, our water district has been working fine and everything is going good. And we kind of keep it within ourselves. And we pick, it's a difficult chore with continuously changing situations. The water chemistry can change in 1 hour. Frank hasn't had to issue boil water notices. You look at other water districts around here, they've been issuing boil water,
So
you don't drink the water.
Just
They've
for a
got
point of
people-
order, sir, I think you're very qualified and I'm sure that's why you're probably serving
I
on the
just
board.
want you to know my background.
Sure. I was just wondering, do you have a candidate that you want to say something about? Since that's what we're
would
here to
like
decide.
people with a pragmatic, practical, they know some of the machinery, the chemistry, the mathematics, things
Okay.
like that. And it takes time. Sometimes I put in 40 hours of research before we have a meeting. I don't know how many people have the time to do that. I thoroughly research it. I've got background. I've got people I can contact for references and try and guide the meetings as I can to try and make the right decisions. It's an easy industry to really make a big mess up that becomes a public disaster. There's other water districts in this county where people have gone to jail for making a innocent mistake. I don't know if the city council wants to take responsibility when they start appointing people and things that could go wrong. We kind of have our own criteria that's based more other than on the political science sort of view. It's a pragmatic, it's a science background, math, and how they can get along with everybody.
Okay.
We've done well so far. If it works, I wouldn't mess with it, is my opinion. We've been doing it. They had a change in procedure with this appointment thing where there was no city here until 1984, and we've been working on the original
1980, sir.
rules.
1980, but anyway,
19, okay, sorry. I
that's
stand-
okay.
But we've been working on the original rules. There's been a procedural change in the way they're going to implement it. And it kind of could throw a monkey wrench into something that's been working very well. I would use a lot of caution in meddling in this. And because it's easy to, things to go wrong.
I
You
see.
can look at the other water district. I think our reputation is stellar. We've been able to get grants because we have a clean, well-functioning, we have a technical group that's knows what they're doing.
Thank you very
I
much,
would be
sir.
cautious. That's all I have to say.
I appreciate your comments, sir. Anyone else wishing to address the council? Seeing none here, Madam Clerk, anybody in Zoom?
There are no hands raised on Zoom, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. This time I'm going to bring it back to council for deliberation. We will deliberate for 5 minutes and then we'll reconvene.